That joke isn't funny anymore. Available on Amazon and everywhere.
Alrighty, hello. We are here with another episode of the Carousel with special guest, author and comedian Lou Perez.
Yo. Thanks for having me, Isaac.
So we are going to talk about today an absolutely epic article in the New York Times called "The Trouble with Wanting Men." And I have to say, I have not had this much fun reading an article in a very long time. It is just so insane. It's so deeply, deliciously insane in the perfect way. And it's like actually kind of geniusly written in some ways, and then just so totally tone deaf and so totally lacking any self-awareness. That it's fantastic. I'm really excited about like where mainstream culture is going, because the left has clearly decided like it's like rails off time. So they're making stuff that's really demented and like really kind of insane again, after this like 20-year period of like woke, managed language police, ideal police. Like clearly there's still a ton of woke stuff out there, but there's a side of it, like the leading edge now is like, they're like, fuck it. We're going ham. We're going to meet them on their own turf. They're going to play chicken with us. And it's like, this article really seems like that to me. Like this article is so fucking insane. So tell us about this article and what caught your eye about it.
Yeah, so first I'm going to say what caught my eye about it was the fact that so many people were sharing it on X and taking like excerpts from it, you know? So I think a lot of people, this was catnip for a lot of people on the right who want to talk about, you know, how crazy shit libs have gone. And it's like, here's a prime example. And this is also, you know, kind of in the context that we're swimming with where, you know, PBS is about to be, you know, defunded and done away with, and you have like mainstream late night stuff that's going away, and you know, I think people, they want to turn to some like, you know, what's some like really good journalism, some really good, you know, takes on humanity and the human condition, and then in that mess, this comes up, The Trouble with Wanting Men, which is written by a woman named it's either
Jean Garnett.
Yeah.
Who's a mother, by the way.
Right.
This is written by a mother, which is actually really, really upsetting and disturbing. When you read this article, it's like really hilarious and just so blindly ridiculous that it's like almost like it's like reading the mind of like a red pill dude, you know, because it's like you could not show the like total destruction of everything related to sex and gender in America in a more red-pilled way than this woman unintentionally does.
Yeah, that's a big thing. It is a piece, like it's basically, you know, there's like the hack sort of setup when it comes to like comedy, which is like dating is hard, and then you go into how hard it is. This whole piece is about dating being hard, and what's so funny is, like you said, like this woman is a mother. That's revealed so far down.
Yeah, and it's like, and as if that is just a total afterthought.
Yeah, it's
so like who? Oh yeah, I'm a mother. My daughter, whatever. She doesn't. You know, the fact that I'm completely, totally sexually amoral. Surely that has no impact. I do whatever I want. I don't have any responsibility to anybody. Why would I? I'm trying to get off. Isn't me trying to get off more important than my daughter's well-being? And it's like, that's just, she doesn't even, that never occurs to her. That never occurs that maybe this is impacting her daughter negatively. Here she is. She's a twin, the uglier of two, I think. And she looks kind of like Meryl Streep. She's kind of a Meryl Streep vibe. And she's also got this vibe of that many women who are in these elite Yale bullshit daycare job spheres, especially the more arty of them, they don't wear makeup, or at least they really appear like they don't wear makeup, like they really look like they are not trying. It's like, why am not trying? And then, of course, they write an article about how men don't want them, but which again, of course, there's no that couldn't possibly be related to how I present myself, because that would be insane, right? So anyway, sorry, continue. That's who Jean Garnett is. You can find pictures of her. She's kind of Meryl Streep without makeup, skinny. I mean, she's all right. She's kind of my type, actually, to be honest. But whatever.
Yeah, I guess the basic premise here is that she's looking for something in men that she's not getting. So the obvious problem is men. That the men are the ones with the problem, and at no point does she factor in certain details about herself. So we find out that she does have a daughter. We do find out that she was married. We do find out that she was married, and the relationship was an open relationship. So we find that out, right? And then we also find out like kind of her band of her friends, which she describes. I think where is it, the one she just said? We were 4 women at a vegan restaurant in downtown Manhattan. We knew what show we were in, and we.
I like that line. Yeah. I like that line. It's good. There's actually glimmers of great writing in this. I have to admit, there really is some good writing in here. But anyway, sorry, keep going.
So the full quote, vegan restaurant downtown Manhattan. We knew what show we were in, and we couldn't help but wonder, in a smug, chauvinistic way, where were the men who could handle hard stuff, like leaving the house for sex. And so it has this like Sex in the City thing, kind of meets Girls. During this whole thing, I'm asking myself, because I'm a 43-year-old man, I'm married, I have kids. I'm like, how old is this chick? Like, what is the age of this person going through these particular dating woes? And throughout the course of the piece, there's all of this like kind of made up academic language that's used in like almost like over analytical stuff, like very lefty, left wing. And what's ironic is that at no point is there the self-reflection. At no point does she come out and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm really annoying. Maybe that's why I'm having trouble, navigating this dating life in this scene, because I'm the problem.
Or maybe I'm a terrible person. And never does she think maybe men actually aren't into extraordinarily selfish women whose entire world is built around sexual desire and getting off. Maybe men find that disgusting. Just a thought. Maybe all of history is based on men finding that disgusting. But, I don't know. Maybe you just want to throw that out. Who cares?
Or, like, look, when I was in my early 30s, newly single, I was on the dating apps and I was sleeping around and that was fun. But there's also this element. There's this element too of like, if you're looking for relationships that are prominently just about the sex, right? There's a chance where the person, your lover, just gets tired of you and isn't interested. They're not going to stick around anymore if they're not interested in the sex anymore. And at no point does she even maybe think about that. Like, hey, maybe this guy Jay or whatever his name is, maybe the guy that she's like falling in love with, maybe he doesn't like to hit it anymore. Maybe he's off to other pastures.
Right. It's all about how it's somehow the men are deficient in some way. I mean, to be fair, she does. The way that I put it is we'll get back to exactly what happened with her husband, who she was in an open relationship with and then fell in love with another guy. We'll get to this whole thing, which she explains in detail. But and we'll get there. I'll read some quotes from it because it's just so good. I really can't get enough of this. But it's like she's scratching to the ultimate limit of self-awareness, right? She's doing this thing which is very like David Foster Wallace. It's this type of writing that women and men both do like pretty well. And it's like, how did I put this? I want to see like what did I say about this? Oh yeah, she's like scratching this scab of self-awareness. Like she's just itching it. She's like, she wants to find the truth, right? She's like itching the scab. Like I'm gonna find the truth. It's not even the truth about the world. It's the truth about herself. Like she is being ultra self-reflective. This is very David Foster Wallace. It's like the female version of David Foster Wallace. But she's not ever thinking about other people. She never gets around to thinking about morality. She never thinks about getting around to what is right. She only thinks about what I am. What am I? What am I? She's asking the question over and over. And she thinks if I get to the end of that, if I get to the end, if I find out who I am, then I will win. Then I'll be happy. Then I will be good. And it's like, that's not how that works. Endless self-reflection is not the answer. It's actually the opposite of the answer. And so that's kind of like where she's going with this. But anyway, should we start from the beginning here, or almost the beginning?
I think so. I think we need to.
Okay. All right. So here we go. So it begins with this anecdote. So this isn't the whole article. I've chopped it into pieces. Hey, Robert, thank you so much. I'm illiterate for reading. Here's our super chat. Thank you, Robert. I'm illiterate, so thanks for reading and digesting. The pod is going to be a good one. Thank you so much, man. So anyway, yes. I mean, I didn't even really read this either. I just listened to it. I only listen to shit now. And one of the great things about New York Times is they do it. I subscribed to the New York Times just for this. $1 a week.
I did it today, too, because I wanted to get behind that paywall, and then I'd get $1 a week. They got me. They got us.
They got me too. And you know what, man? From the New York Times perspective, I just have to say, amazing work. This is so spicy. It's such good spice. It's like, this is what they should be publishing. Like, more of this, please. So anyway, it starts with the stranger arrived at the bar before I did, as I intended him to, and was waiting for me at the table and back. He had the kind of face I like, and he had been a little difficult to pin down, delayed in his responses, which I also like. The place was loud with having fun sounds. Those having fun sounds. It's like, again, it's all in her mind.
Right.
It's like everybody around me is making having fun sounds for my benefit. That people make when they expect to have fun any minute now. So we were leaning in to hear each other. His hair, I thought, would be good to put my hands in. There comes a time usually when a few extra beats of eye contact are enough. We passed through these beats, took each other's wrists and met across the table, which was wide enough to frustrate kissing in the right way, keeping the rest of us well apart. Back at my place, he was a little shy, I thought, or a little out of practice, but I felt he wanted me, which is what I wanted, to be organized and oriented by his desire, as though it were a point on the dark horizon, strobing. I was really looking forward to seeing you again, he texted me the following week around lunchtime. But I'm going through some intense anxiety today and need to lay low, frowny face. So that's how it begins. And then it proceeds to be about how it's like this guy's such a pussy for having anxiety.
Well, what I find really funny is, and then later we'll meet the friends who one of them is a therapist and the other is a historian. There's sort of almost like these archetypes of these characters, and what's so funny is like the very men that they are complaining about or having like all this anxiety and all that are the exact type of men that they're seeking out for these kinds of relationships. So it's like, wait, you're getting exactly what you're trying to buy. And I wonder actually if there's a chance that these guys actually might not even be anxious, but know that if I use this lingo, that's a way to sort of end this thing cleanly and a lot more easily, that I don't have to have an awkward conversation like, hey, we hit I thought we hit it off, but I really don't like you. Now that I think about it, now it's more of like, oh no, it's me. I'm a shy guy and anxious, and I just need time for myself to heal, from my past traumas.
Yeah, right, exactly. So wait, but what do you mean? It's like the kind of guy? Say more about that. It's the kind of guy that she's going.
Yeah. So let's see. So later on, we talk about like he tends to signal in various ways his exemption from the tainted category of, quote, men. Yeah. And it is perfectly understandable that he would wish to do so. It must be mildly embarrassing to be a straight man, and it is incumbent upon each of them to mitigate this embarrassment in a way that feels authentic to them. And I was just like, so they date the kind of guys who have anxiety. Like, you're dating men who eschew the label of men who I guess don't want to be classically masculine, who don't want to be masculine or bogged down by all of this heteronormativity and all that. And then you turn around and wonder why they behave. I wouldn't even say like chicks. I mean, why they behave, they're almost just like neutered,
Well, right. That's a whole other line of reasoning that it's like, she does acknowledge, and there is lots of acknowledgement in here that the reason men are like this, meaning the reason men have basically been divided into two categories, which is one, soy-lennials who like eschew the category of men and they're nice guys and they're constantly signaling that they're not part of white men. That's one group. And then the other group is like fuckboy. Dudley Newright put this very well today. Then the other group is fuckboy, who's like constantly being like, oh, my mental health, my lack of commitment, it's killing me today. Right. Both of those categories of men are liars, right? They're both lying. Right. They're both not living in reality. But the problem is, and I know because I am one of these guys, if you fucking tell them the truth, you're going to get fucking ostracized immediately. They don't want to hear the fucking truth. This girl thinks that if I was to fucking sit with her and tell her the fucking truth, she'd be okay with that. She would not last 10 fucking seconds. She would immediately be like, he's evil. He is satanic. That man is satanic. I've seen this happen. She would be like, he is crazy. He's insane, the things he says. And it's like, well, yeah, okay. I thought you said you didn't want guys to lie to you, but it's a fucking impossible choice. Like you're going with these two obvious liars, and you're totally outgrouping any guy who's like, oh, he's an incel, or he's a woman hater who's just like trying to tell you the fucking truth, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah, good point. That's like the guys she's choosing are not really exactly in the category of like people that you want to be involved with to begin with. One of my favorite lines in here, she goes on later, is privately, jokes aside. So she goes for a long time. She spends a lot of time acknowledging that she's heterosexual, because the title of the piece, again, is The Trouble with Wanting Men. And it's hinged on this academic concept of heteropessimism or heterofatalism. And what that basically is a bunch of homos, academics, trying to get all the straights to stop being straight and to just be gay all the time. Because first of all, that's what gays want. They all like straight members for some reason. And two, that just means there's more gay shit for them to have sex with. So there's like all this academia around heterofatalism, who's basically trying to tell this girl, give up on men and come join the pussy parade over here. And she very much she says repeatedly, she wants to not do that. Like you think it's in the end, she's going to be like, okay, I'm giving up on men. I'm going to go be a lesbian. But that doesn't happen. She stays strong in her straightness, and we'll get to like how she reconciles that later. But here's part of it. She says, privately, jokes aside, I am quite susceptible to penis. Like, I worry that in some Hobbesian state of nature, I might just automatically kneel to the prettiest one. But lately I have been bruised by the ambivalence of men. How they can first want me, then become confused about what they want. And this body diminishing humor soothed me, made me feel more powerful, more in control. When did the men get so anxious about desire? Asked the therapist. And I said I didn't know. Yes, you do, my friend said. It was when they were put on notice that they can't just get drunk and grope us.
Well, what I find really interesting is because I have close friends of mine who are gay men, and the way they navigate, physical desire is that they fuck a lot, and they fuck a lot of different guys. And, I have a buddy of mine who, could spend time at a bathhouse, and he once told me like how many partners he had in one sitting at a bathhouse. And I was just, my straight mind couldn't believe it, and what you have here is sort of like you said, like this, almost like the queering of these, the attempted queering, like academic queering of like sexuality. And she's being told where it's like, you should be kind of like a gay man in the way that you navigate sex, but she can't, understand or take the reality of like, oh no, sometimes it's like, hit it and quit it, and now you're gone. You're just like another body that was used,
Right. She can't wrap her head. It's like, well, and that's such a typical thing. It's like the women at the table all telling each other, it's not that he just doesn't like you, right? Wasn't there the whole movie, He's Just Not That Into You? Which was like the one thing you could not say to a woman. It's like, the answer to this woman's, all of her dating problems is these guys just aren't into her. They want to fuck, and that's what they do, and they tell her lies in order to fuck her, and then they are like, yeah, sorry, my anxiety is bothering me, peace. Like that's it. And she's like, oh, it's a commitment problem, or they're afraid. And it's like, no, lady, that you've just created a situation where you're post-wall, you don't wear makeup, you're not trying, you do whatever the fuck you want, you fucked every guy in the world, you have a fucking daughter, and you're just not desirable. You're desirable enough to bang, maybe a couple of times, but you're not desirable enough to like go after, and I don't say that to like pour hate on this woman. It's not like I'm like getting any happiness in like being like, nobody wants you. Like, I don't think that that's nice. And I don't want to say that to people. I'm not like, oh, nobody wants you. Ha ha, screw you. I'm just saying it's like, there's just so much insane dancing around the key issues here.
Yes. Well, also, I could, just speaking as like early, I think it was either today or the other day, there was like someone had tweeted out something like, a man should just be able to be good to everybody, or something like that. And I had, responded with kind of a joke that I've told before, where it's like, as a married man, I only have to deal with one woman's bullshit, and on the same hand, on the other side of that coin is my wife has to deal with my bullshit. And when you're in a relationship, you deal with each other's bullshit. And in order to make that commitment, you really have to want to deal with the other person's bullshit and baggage. So, this, Jean, what she brings to the table, I think, is a lot of baggage. And also on top of that, she's apparently writing a book about relationships. So every guy who's kind of going into this, like every date, you have the potential to be yet another chapter, that she, ends up, like kind of like I had a professor who used to call it shrink wrap, like when you would go to a therapy session, and spill it all out. I mean, that's what a lot of these guys have to look forward to is, being yet another character in her story.
Shrink wrap?
Yeah, he used to call it shrink wrap, like God, what? Yeah, it was just sort of like first person narratives, just spilling out, basically like a therapy session.
Shrink wrap.
Yeah, shrink wrap.
I love it. This is definitely shrink wrap. This is some grade A shrink wrap. It would be hilarious if this was all a punchline, and then it's like you read this article of just about absurd failure at the highest level, and then it's like, Jean, whatever, has written a book called "A Navigating Relationships." So, New York City,
it's like the love languages, the 5 love languages,
Yeah, the 5 ways to make a man happy. But yeah, okay. So she goes on. Okay, so this is where it just crumbles so perfectly and exquisitely from unhappy post-wall woman to she was married and she cheated on her husband and she was in an open relationship and she has a daughter and, like it just gets worse and worse and worse. So it's, okay, she says, I haven't been dating long. Just the other day, my ex-husband and I received our judgment of divorce as an email attachment. This is like, it's like, oh, my wife's boyfriend is really mad at me. But just long enough to discover that I have a type. He is gentle, goofy, self-deprecating, rather deferential, a passionate humanist, a sweet guy, a good guy. He tends to signal in various ways his exemption from the... He says he tends to signal in various ways his exemption from the tainted category of men, and it is perfectly understandable that he would wish to do so. It must be mildly embarrassing to be a straight man, and it is incumbent upon each of them to mitigate this embarrassment in a way that feels authentic to him. So what? Why? She never tells us why. Why is it embarrassing to be a straight man?
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Do you think? Why does she mean that?
I'm trying to jump into her head. I guess. I mean, we are coming off of at least 10 years of, I guess, like the demonization of of men. I'm assuming all the guys that she was dating are white. If it wasn't, she would definitely mention that. Right.
Yeah, true.
She would definitely make it really clear.
Note how she doesn't say the race. If she said the race, it would be, then we'd know. Yeah.
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 If she was dating a black guy, I would be like, man, bitches is crazy. She would just come right out and say, she's like, you know what? He said bitches is crazy. And I was like, perhaps I was the bitch,
She does do rap lyrics later on in the most annoying white woman way possible.
I think I remember that. But yeah, well, I'm trying to think. I've never really, have I ever felt embarrassed for being straight? I mean, I've felt embarrassed in that, like when I was younger, I guess like my desire to, to be with women like made me like a dork, or I wasn't as cool as I wanted to be, or like, man, I really like this girl so much, and she knows it, and I can't keep, I'm not like that stoic dude who can like keep it to myself and like take it easy. Like I'm too excited. But the idea of like being embarrassed, that just seems so alien,
Yeah, it's like but I guess this is what she believes in her mind, that white, or not even white, just straight men should be embarrassed just for existing. We should be embarrassed. Why? Yeah. Why should we be embarrassed? I really don't even understand. I mean, I guess it's because we're the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Right? Because we've been in control. We've been in control for so long that we should be embarrassed about being in control. I guess. Anyway, okay. Then she goes, one of the reasons my marriage ended was that I fell in love with another man.
One of the reasons.
Just one.
Yeah.
We're just
really going to go into that.
There was a lot of reasons, but one big one was that I fell in love with another man. So, who I'm referred to by his first initial, J. Spontaneously graceful. One thing is she does actually like men, which is, you can tell because she like describes them in these like luscious ways.
Yeah.
Spontaneously graceful with a soft voice and an inordinate sad-eyed smile. Jay made me laugh, stopping my breath. Being a good guy, he intimated from the jump that he did not know how to do relationships, giving me to understand that if I expected one with him, or as he may have conceptualized it from him, I did so at my peril, which was his peril too, since he would hate to hurt me. Still, he pursued me. He wanted to see, we seemed to be doing some, oh fuck. I fucking lost the end of this. Hold on. We seem to be doing some... What the fuck? Where'd it go?
What's it?
Seemed... Oh, okay. We seem to be doing something together. That's how that sentence ends. Sorry. So it's funny that she likes these good guys. It's like... Okay, let me just keep going. Because she actually has really good... like anecdotes about dealing with this crop of guys who know how to talk the language of polyamory. And this is something that endlessly fascinates me, because I have like an old friend who writes a blog, and she's like deep in these elite circles of like Burning Man people. and she's always going on vacations and stuff, and she's single, like almost 40, and she's always going on these vacations and meeting a guy who's like, I'm poly, but my primary isn't with me. Like it's like these guys have concocted this perfect language that allows them to just cheat on their wives. It's fucking unbelievable.
I have a small story about primaries too.
Primaries, my primary.
Yeah. When I was single and I was on OkCupid, I was talking to a girl who was poly, and I was like, oh, this is cool. This means I'm going to have sex. Right. I mean, that's just what I saw. And, and so we were talking, like, going, back and forth. And then at one point I looked and she had like listed her primary, her primary guy had joined, OkCupid. I went over to look at his stuff, and I was reading, his bio to get, to get to know, see who this guy was. And I noticed that he had lifted a bunch of lines that I had written in my own bio. Whoa. And he was using it as his own. So like one of my lines was, I said that I am only made up of the best parts of your ex-boyfriends. I thought, like, oh, that's a cute little thing. Motherfucker took that line.
Wow.
There was a line I had. It was like, I don't take myself too seriously, but I'll take you seriously. Like, I don't know where that came from. I'm imagining the douchebag grin on my face when I was writing that. This dude took that. So then I had to like let for me, I couldn't let that go. The writer in me, I was like, this guy, is plagiarizing me. So I let I let her know, I'm like, hey, your primary is stealing shit. And we never talked, we never talked after that, so, part of me shortly thereafter was like, oh man, I should have let it go. Maybe I should just let it go and just, see where things went. But yeah, that was my first time and my only time really dealing with that.
So did you bang her?
No, we didn't even meet up. No,
you got plagiarized by a primary.
Yeah, I got plagiarized
by a primary.
Yeah.
Maybe there was no girl at all. Maybe it was actually.
I think I think I got caught by that. I think I got catfished once.
Yeah,
without even meeting. Yeah, without even meeting. That's what sucks when you get catfished and you don't even meet up to see like what
the catfish is.
What the catfish was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so. My husband and I had an open relationship at that time that Jay and I met. So the terms of our involvement were at first limited. Though Jay exerted a pleasant pressure against these limitations, ultimately they suited him. I was the one who violated the terms by finding it intolerable after a while to care that much. In that way, for one person while being married to another. I could not disambiguate sex from love, nor love from devotion, futurity, family integration, things I wanted from Jay. Even though throughout the year and a half or so that we saw each other, he continued to gesture his incapacity to commit, and I really like this line. He continued to gesture his incapacity to commit as if it were a separate being, an unfortunate child who followed and relied upon him, maybe, or a physical constraint. I stood there reaching for him while he sad-faced back at me like a boxed mime. He couldn't talk about it. He wished things were different. Maybe someday the child would mature, the glass would break, but for now, there was really nothing to be done. That's just great. That's great writing. And that describes exactly this type of dude. It describes like the modern fuckboy who comes up with this fake like being that is his like, oh, it's my mental health, man. It's just my inability to commit. It's a chronic condition. Sorry. And somehow that lets them off the hook for fucking these girls that he's just not that into. Because this is what, women, they can't accept that there's different grades. There's the girls that you want a wife and there's the girls you want to bang. The girls you want a wife is like one out of a zillion. The girls you want to bang is like every one. So it's like, that's the thing.
And what I found troubling too, I think it was this same character, Jay, that like, she would hang out with him and her daughter, and I'm fortunate. My wife and I are still married. We're about to celebrate 7 years together.
Wow.
If we were not together, she and I would definitely have very important conversations about who you let around your children, especially if it's in a romantic capacity. So the idea too that, you have this guy who's making it clear that he's just, just looking, for sex or to bang you, and you're having him, have like some kind of like relationship with your daughter, that just seems like a bad idea all around, and kind of a, I'm definitely not hoping for the worst, but it's something where I would imagine, her ex-husband, the biological father, might have some, thoughts about that, or some concerns. It's like, wait, are you going to let every dude that you see who you want something more from, but you don't know what it is exactly, or you're going to let them around, our child? How
about letting the guy that you left your friggin' husband for 5 minutes ago around your child?
Right. Yeah.
You think that's not going to be like mega traumatizing?
Yeah.
Kids know that shit. Kids know exactly what is going on, man. They know exactly the deal. They're not confused. I'm sure that kid felt fucking terrible in that circumstance. Did the mom have 2 seconds of thinking about how this daughter is feeling? No, she's worried about what Jay is thinking. That's what she remembers. It's so fucked up, man. It's like really, really dark and sad. It's this whole thing is like, it's like Medusa, it's like the divine feminine gone too far and just having ripped apart every single binding of society. Every single boundary is gone, and there's actually something quite feminine about that. There's something quite, like Longhouse, right? It's like the state of nature is actually quite feminine. It's like a house watched over by a woman, but that's the only rule is her rule. Everything else is, there's no Apollonian structures with which to build upon. There's no marriage. Everybody just fucks whoever they want. Everybody just, it's like the multi-boob, you've seen those like multi-boob statues.
Yeah.
It's like that, like warped, crazed feminine thing. It's like, that's really what this reminds me of.
I mean, now that I'm thinking, the fact that she's a twin, I'm almost wondering when that twin came into existence. Like if there was just one and then they just kind of separated, like later on in life, like at the, at age 13 or something like that.
Wow. Right. Boundary problems. Maybe it's been a boundary problem thing her whole life. And she probably has her twin. That's why all these other relationships like aren't really that important to her, like she's just like, well, I have my twin, so who cares? Okay. So then she goes, there are many routes to the species of disappointment I am circling here. However, we get there. The complaint is so common, such a cultural and narrative staple, that the Academy is weighing in. So she's saying the women complaining about not being able to find a man is extremely common. Now, is this really any different than it's been throughout all the rest of history where women have complained about this? I don't know. But, we're certainly going to turn it into a profession in today's world. So now we have a fancy word, heteropessimism, to describe the outlook of straight women fed up with the mating behavior of men. It's also like these people they treat the, sexuality as like this thing that you are, yet simultaneously they believe in fluidity. So it's an inherent contradiction because they're like straight women. And it's like, well, one day you could wake up straight according to you, and the next day you could wake up gay. So it's like, what do you mean straight women? I thought that doesn't exist anyway. Mm-hmm. Coined by the sexuality scholar Asa Saracen, who later amended it to heterofatalism, the term seems at first glance to distill a mood that is no less timely for being timeless. It was really, and then she tells an anecdote of her friend. It was really nice. A close friend texted me recently reporting on her third date with a lawyer. He was really, really sweet and nice to me and good at sex. No doubt something humiliating and nightmarish will soon occur. On more than one occasion, when my friend checked in with the lawyer to confirm tentative plans, he did not respond to her for many hours or even a day. Granted, he worked a punishing schedule, but, my friend reasoned, it takes 90 seconds to send a quick reply. The distance between his caring and attentive in-person behavior and these silences confused her, and she mentioned this to him. The lawyer was sorry he had kept her waiting. He hadn't meant to, but, he said, her complaint had got him thinking. He unfortunately wasn't able to escalate whatever was happening between them into a relationship. My friend clarified that she had not been asking to escalate anything. Merely expressing a need for clarity about plans. He understood that, he said, but their communication skills were obviously too different for them to continue dating.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of funny, where you have these very professional women who seem so just out of their depth and just not understanding what should be just, pretty clear. Like you obviously do want something more than what he's giving you. Right. And like, accept that, and own it, yeah. And I mean, the fact there's no names, it's just the lawyer. There's the historian. There are these, I do wonder, what the people reading this who are, I guess, on more of aligned with her side, on politics and ideology. I wonder what's in their head when they hear the lawyer. What does that woman look like? What has she been through? What has she given up? What has she sacrificed to get to where she is today? And what is owed to her, for having given all that up? Like, oh, that guy's a piece of shit. He doesn't deserve her. Whoever this person is, this figment in their mind.
I mean, it's funny that she says, no doubt something humiliating and nightmarish will occur soon. It's funny. I mean, yeah. I do think it's like, it is, again, I can't really tell because I'm not in the dating pool either. Is this just normal? Like, women, she actually admits, there's also a whole academicized version in here. Caravaggio says this is so much status signaling porn. Yeah, good call, Caravaggio. What do you mean by that? But it's like female complaining is an act of rebellion. They academicize female complaining later, and they say female complaining, this is how we rebel. It's like, well, okay, it's fine. But obviously, like, I can't tell, is this really anything new? Like, is the dating market really anything new? Or is this just the latest version of complaining about it, right? Like, I can't really tell what's true about that. But I do feel like at the very least, even if nothing has actually really changed in terms of how annoying dating is, the way they're talking about it, this kind of doomerism, this kind of female doomerism, which is basically what she's calling it. I mean, she's calling it heterofatalism, is interesting, right? It is different than Sex and the City. It is different than the woke era. It is a different thing. It's kind of like it's a fuck it. It's like nihilistic kind of. It's like, we know this is going to suck. And so, fuck it, who cares? This is all, and that's kind of what she's admitting to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and with the heterofatalism part, it's the outlook, women fed up with the mating behavior of men. And it's like, well, the mating behavior of men, in this case, straight men, is dependent upon the mating behavior of women. It's not like, it does take two to tango. And guys, I've been out of the dating game for like 12 years. So I don't know how things have changed, if they have changed. I mean, as you say, it's like, are we just dealing with stuff that we've always dealt with, but they're sort of dressing it up in kind of this like grad student paper, trying to get all like, analytical to make it sound like it's deeper than it actually is, or smarter than it is. I don't know. Oh, I think he just froze, or maybe I froze. Yeah, I think Isaac, looks like Isaac was frozen. I think he just left. He's coming back. If we're still broadcasting, hi guys. Very happy to be here. I'm Lou Perez, comedian and author. My book is That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore. So I might as well use this as a chance to plug. It's all me. Thank you. Javier Oliva just said it's all me, coming in live from YouTube. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is my first time on Isaac's show, so I don't know, what the rules are, what the etiquette is, but I've been enjoying our conversation thoroughly. For those of you who haven't read the piece in the New York Times, it is The Trouble with Wanting Men, and it is totally worth what I believe is like $21 for the year. They're doing a very special program, and this is how they got us in, man. I was not going to renew my subscription to the New York Times, and then Jean Garnett comes out of nowhere and does it. So there we go. Mr. Caravaggio says plug away. I'm going to plug away. Down there's a tiny book. Where's my book? Hold on, I'll bring you guys over to my bookshelf. So this is my book, That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore, on the death and rebirth of comedy. All right. So I'm waiting to get some word from Isaac. He is on the West Coast. I hope everything is okay there, for sure. If you guys have any questions, please leave some in the comment section. I'm going to use all the good vibes to just keep going until I'm told to stop. Let's see. Yeah, I think that. Let's see. I'm communicating with our man. This is the first time for both of us. Okay. Okay. Javier just said, formerly the Isaac Simpson show. Look, this is not planned. This is not a coup. Again, Isaac has been a very great host for me. I appreciate the hospitality. I don't know if you guys could hear it, but there's some screams happening in the background, and that's what you get when you have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and we're around dinner time on the East Coast.
Yo,
and he's
were
back.
You talking?
I was talking. Yeah, I was talking Dude, that whole time. You got it.
For talking.
So,
nice.
Yeah.
It was the Lou show there for
there we go.
So I'm on my phone right now. I'm on my streaming on my phone. The internet just totally went out. That's actually the first time that's ever happened. I think that maybe happened one other time ever. Very weird. Not sure what's going on. But yeah, so sorry about that, everybody.
No.
I'm glad that this is actually still going, because then now it's not going to be annoying later on. What were you saying?
I was plugging my book. I gave them a tour of my little library, my book down there.
Oh, very good.
I was just about to answer Mr. Caravaggio, who's a wonderful painter. Thank God you're still alive.
Yes,
I am a stand-up comedian and a writer and a producer as well. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, nice. A lot of comments from the crowd. Thank you guys for keeping that going. I'm again on my phone internet right now, so hopefully this will last. Okay, so we were talking about, just to get back to this, we were talking about. Thank you, Lou. Filled in like a pro. Yes, we were talking about how basically this lawyer ghosts this girl. He doesn't respond to her. He bangs her, doesn't respond to her, and because he's nice, and then is like, oh, sorry. She starts bothering him, and it's not because she wants a relationship. It's just she's wondering. I'm just wondering about our plans. It's not that I want. It's not that I care. Which is just like, come on. I mean, if this woman is Lou Crusher, keep firing away the article. Thank you so much. Super chat from Rob Weisenfeld. Like if you're going to go to this level of self-awareness, it's like she can't go to self-awareness of anybody else besides her own mind. Why can't she understand that this guy is just not telling the truth. Like, it's not that, why can't she understand that her friend does want a relationship? She's not just checking in about communication. Like, it's so obvious, that that's not the case. So,
well, yeah, and I do wonder too. What is it that both Jean and her friends want? Like to me, it's not really clear like what they want. I mean, like when I met my wife, and we were building towards towards marriage, like we were together, and then ultimately building towards having a family, having kids. Like when we got married, one of the things I talked about when we were doing our vows is how my wife made me want to be a father. Like I went my whole life trying not to get girls pregnant, but my wife was like, my girlfriend at the time, then fiance, I wanted to have kids with this woman, and with these characters kind of in this story, I don't know what it is that they want. Are they looking for a partnership? Is the lawyer like, hey, you know what, I would love to actually find somebody and have a kid, and I thought this guy would be a wonderful man to have children with. We don't get any of that.
So what was it about your wife that made you want to have kids?
I think it was, I'm sure there was like some biochemical thing going, but a big part was also seeing the way she was with children, how much she loved being around kids. And when she was younger, she was a babysitter, and she babysat. She did so well as a babysitter that she bought her first car. She bought a Jeep. And she had just like just a genuine love of children, very motherly, thing about her. And it just felt right. It just got me. I just started thinking like, oh, well, hey, if we accidentally get pregnant, that's cool.
And it's okay.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to get to that point?
We dated. Let's see. I guess we got engaged. I was probably like 4 years in, and then we got married. And then it took us like a year to get pregnant. And for anybody out there, one of the things I would say is if you can have a baby earlier on in life, go for it. For me, the big thing was the impact on sleep, where I feel like if I was, God, was I 37 when my first kid was born? If I was 27 when he was born, I think I would have handled the lack of sleep a little better. But then again, I didn't meet my wife until I was 30. So sometimes things don't work out the exact way that you planned. But
So you were 37 when you had your first one?
37 at the first one, and then I was 38 or 39 for the second guy.
Wow. Yeah, I was like 35 and then like 38, I guess.
Yeah.
I totally agree, man. That's why I say to everybody, just reproduce now. Just fucking do it right away. Don't wait, because it's much harder. When you have a kid when you're older, it's actually a lot harder. Like you're actually supposed to, like, the reason why everybody's 20s like is so disgusting and like hedonistic is like you really are supposed to have a kid during that time. Okay, so she's to continue on here. Now she goes into sort of like the definition of this heterofatalism thing. So if the experts say my romantic letdowns have some larger social significance, I am not going to argue. The men I want are not wanting me badly enough. There you go. It's like, also, how old is this woman? It's like, did we find out how old she is?
I asked Grok, and Grok said age unknown. We don't know how old she is.
Is this like really a Taylor Lorenz thing where she's like 55 and she like seems like she's 30? It's like
her daughter's 35 years old.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I was at the park with my daughter who's 20. No, it's like not, look, this whole forever young thing of millennials is gross. Not that it's like, who knows what'll happen when I'm a little older, but it's like, man, this is a mother this is a mother in society who is typing, "Men don't want me enough" right now. And it's like, I appreciate the honesty. I really do. But it's like, come on, man. Have some morality. So the men I want are not wanting me badly enough, not communicating with me clearly enough, not devoting themselves to me. All this certainly seems calamitous enough to warrant an ism. And if it is an ism, the problem cannot be me. It must be men, right? Men are what is rotten in the state of straightness. And why shouldn't we have an all-inclusive byword for our various pessimisms about them? It's like, whoa. And then you can't tell if that's like tongue-in-cheek or legit. So whatever Saracen's vision is, most of us can neither renounce our heterosexuality, but why not? That's the part that I don't get. It's like, why can't you renounce your heterosexuality? It's because you just are. This is what I don't get about their ideology. It's like, if you wanted to be a lesbian, you could be a lesbian. It's like you just are. But then gender is fluid. Anyway, so renounce our heterosexuality nor realize the significant renegotiation of its terms. What we can do, at least for now, is negotiate with ourselves. We can try to dodge old-fashioned man-woman stuff by acting hopeless about relationships rather than eager for them. Maybe this is the utility of heterofatalism, naming the bitter pill before we force ourselves to swallow it and put on a carefree smile. Nice to meet you, good guy. I am the woman who expects nothing.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's just like women acknowledging that they're just becoming these pits of total negativity. You know, it's like, all the hope of being a princess and all that shit just gone.
Well, also the idea of like, there was the quote earlier. It's like, a man should want me urgently or not at all. Like, what? Like, what does that mean? Like, a guy should just want to, like, bring you in the back and finish up in 30 seconds and just be on his way. I don't get it.
Well, that's what, of course, this is all a cry to be treated that way. Yeah. But when you do treat women that way, you get Me Too'd. So, this is the impossible situation that they've put men in, not so intentionally. I don't think it's like they're trying to do it, but, feminism as a societal force has made it so that men are terrified of women. They're terrified of touching them. They can't say anything to them. We've got a panopticon shined in our face every single day, every single moment of the day, recording us. And if you behave inappropriately, you're ostracized. You're Me Too'd. You're literally written up in the media, and your sins are placed in the media so that everybody can see them, from top to bottom. Yeah. So of course men are terrified of this. Of course, and there's porn. So, okay, they can go home and jerk off, which is like horrible. I don't really agree with that, but it's also like, well, it's just a totally placating force. And this is why, and she acknowledges this. She says this is kind of why men have become this. The weird thing is, it's like, yeah, she never gets into any man in her circle of elite aging white women who don't do anything about their appearance. She never addresses a man in that sphere who is desirable in the way that she wants, right? She talks about the guys who are too nice and too, non-committal and too all these things, but she never talks about the time where she was taken by a guy who was like not that. Like, where's the construction worker that she wants to fucking bang, or where's the guy who actually does act this way? I'm sure they're around. It's just she's completely protected from those people, I think.
Well, there's one character who she brings up. She has a former lover / friend / male sensitivity reader, which just comes off as, complete parody of the times we're in. But what this reminds me of too, I think it was, I think it's Kat Rosenfeld who brought up, either she had written the piece or someone else had written the piece. It was by a woman who talked about how you have this really small minority, this vocal minority of the, kind of like the excesses of Me Too, who have kind of made people believe that women don't want to be flirted with and don't want to be, sought after and that sort of thing. And people like this have really fucked it up for the women who actually want, I guess, more of like a traditional kind of relationship with a man. Like, I want a man to flirt with me and to take a chance and to come over and, try to get my number and take me out and that sort of thing. But they did such a bang up job that now you do have a lot of guys who are like, I'm not going for that. I'm not, I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this is, and even just more day-to-day erosion. I think so few men now ever get to that horny place that you really are supposed to be in as a man. You're supposed to be pretty horny, like all of the time. And I think that men just find their way out of that in various ways. Whether it's, smoking weed constantly or, whacking off constantly or whatever it is. I mean, that's the funny thing. It's like the guys that she's actually surrounding herself with they're kind of like modern day playboys, right? Like they're guys who are playing the game. These guys that she's meeting are guys who are playing her. They're finding different ways to play her, either by being kind of a fuckboy or by being this like soillennial nice guy. But neither of those people like her. They're lying. They're just playing a character so they can get in her pants and then move on to the next person. So it's funny that it's like she's articulating, and this is so true of just like white guys in general. It's like they learn this disgusting sort of like, what would you call it? Like hermit crab. No, it's like camouflage behavior. They're like a camouflage moth, and they're like, don't pay attention, and then they get in the girl's pants and then they fucking get out of there, right? Where it's like a guy who's actually fucking likes himself and is not doing the camouflage moth thing, they're not going to give that guy, they're going to be offended. That guy's going to be, a Trump supporter, or he's going to say something mean, or he's going to try and bang her in the bathroom, which is what she says she wants, Yeah,
I remember there was a video that went viral, I guess kind of like a TikTok video a few years back, where it was a woman, obviously she voted Democrat. She was liberal progressive, and she was talking about the really tough position she was in, where she wants to find a guy who has that more traditional masculine kind of persona, or traditional masculinity, but all those guys are on the right, at least in her, in what she's been, what she's been finding. And it's like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, they're trying to do this, this casting session to find like who's going to be the left wing, Joe Rogan, et cetera. Or, they're going to, the Democrats are spending, what's it, $20 million to get to have an obese woman of color reach out to frat boys, And it's like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Lighten up a little bit, maybe. Like, step outside of whatever bubble you're in, because you might find somebody who you actually dig. And
I think that's going to happen, though. I actually think that what we're seeing here, I'm actually very encouraged by this article. I'm encouraged by this article for the same reason that I'm like scared about Mamdani. And maybe not scared, but like titillated by Mamdani. Mm-hmm. It's that they really are finding their footing. Like the left, the mainstream, the regime, whatever you want to call it, they are finding their footing. And that footing is to go harder than the right? Like they're now jumping ahead. And they're not really cloaking their shit anymore. And that's what I read in this. I read in this as a woman who's like, I'm not even going to fucking pretend anymore. You know what I mean? Like she's just like, I'm not even going to fucking pretend to not be a pitch black harpy bitch. Like that's all that I'm resentful. I don't like men. I think they should apologize. They don't like me enough. I'm past the wall, so you know what? Fuck it. I don't fucking care. I'm going to be an asshole. That's kind of what she's saying. That's so much better than some woman whining about the patriarchy, you know, which is what we got for 20 years, you know? And it's like where I see this woman ending up once she, you know, she's never going to be able to pull her head out of her ass enough to actually see anybody else in existence besides maybe her twin for being an actual human being. If she did, she would talk about her husband and her daughter. But she probably will come around to political openness. I bet she will. I bet this crop of women already is. Because I think she's basically admitting, look, these guys are lying to me. I know they're fucking lying. And this whole like moth thing with my primary's not here. Like, I think that shit's fucking dead. You know, that kind of woke talk.
Well, also then, I mean, you had the one, there's one part in the story where she talks about how one of the guys was like, yeah, like, what do you think about, you know, like groups, you know, like doing a group thing? And she's like, not for me. I guess I've thought about it, but it's really not for me. You know, like I do like the connection that two people have. He's like, yeah, man, but like you can have that connection with
do it. You can
groups
come on,
of people,
baby.
you know.
Come on, baby, we can do it. Yeah.
So what's interesting is like, you know, you have someone who believes in these social constructs, these imaginary borders, but yet still is unwilling to step over some of those lines, because I think there is a part of her that's pulling back and saying like, no, that is not the way to happiness, and not even though you're not going to outright say it, it's like that's not the way, you know. Dude,
perfect timing, because this is literally exactly where we were in this thing. So we'll get into this hermeneutic thing in the last little bit, but she says this is a guy she meets who's into the group thing, right? So this is one of these guys who knows slick. He knows how to talk the language, and he's like a little more bro-y, you can tell. Like he's like a little more of a bro than she normally sees. And he says, we turned eventually to the subject of erotic temperament. He was interested in the possibilities that arise between people when any eventuality of marriage, procreation, or fidelity was, so to speak, taken off the bed. Ugh. Horrible. Worst part of this thing, taken off the bed. Come on. Yeah. Come on, lady. What might happen in that bed, in that community, in that world? Watching his clean-cut, boyish form and listening to him speak with the eloquent enthusiasm of a connoisseur, the phrase that occurred to me was sex nerd. Many dabblers in monogamy were not really, he noted with a laugh, many dabblers in non-monogamy, were not really, he noted with a laugh, quoting rapper Pusha T, "bout dat life." He was. First of all, that's not even a Pusha T. That's a Pusha T quote being about that life. Some fact checker made her go be like, which rapper said "bout that life"? Right. It's like, that's just a fucking phrase. It's not like, that's not a, he didn't Pusha T didn't quote "bout that life."
Early, and at some point in there too, she also quotes "Take my wife, please," which is one of the original rappers. Not a Buddy Hackett thing. I forget who that was, but. Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yeah. So what were my feelings, Sex Nerd wanted to know, about groups? I confess to having no interest. What can happen between two people, that thing where a pair of beings lock onto and suspend each other, aching for and into each other? I was about that thing, that life. Sure, he got that. He respected that. But he had actually found that the intense, intimate kind of connections I described could occur between, say, 4 people. And when it did, he added with teeth, it was quite an experience. So it's like he's just trying to lure her into the fuck tent. Yeah, and like then once he gets her in the fuck tent, he's going to kick her right out. Like he's not going to respond, obviously. It's like, just come by, you know, just come by. You can watch. Yeah, like you could, just wear something hot and you could just be there. Just be there. Just connect. Just connect with me and my primary and my other primary, and we're just connecting. Yeah. That's the life. Yeah, and then of course, thanks. She doesn't fall for that one. A rare one that she doesn't fall for somehow. And then after that is where she reveals she has a daughter. Of course, very far down in the piece, because that's the last consideration in any of this. Which is so fucked up. And that's the real side. Like, we've been joking, but I really do have to say, like, that shit sucks, man.
It absolutely fucking sucks to put a kid through this shit, man. It's so fucked up.
And I think it's something to say and something to make clear too. Like, if a dude was writing this, I would also have a similar attitude to her, because I'd be like, wait a minute, what's this guy doing? He's banging all these chicks and bringing these women into the life of his kids. Like, that's not, that's not cool. I know, I'm not going to do it. Someone might find out who this person is, but I know of a person who, has done like similar stuff, like dating a lot of women and bring them into the kids' lives and stuff. And, it's just it's a dangerous thing that you're playing with there. I think definitely on an emotional level. And like you said too, it's not like the divorce was just finalized. It came through via email in an attachment.
Yeah.
And yet, you're putting in front of your daughter these different, male figures. And it's like, who's daddy? That's mommy's friend? What's going on?
Yeah. And that's really sad, man. That's really, really fucking sad. Any kid who's a child of divorce, that's where you start to believe in, this is one of the things I love the most about Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson's mother left his family to like go be a part of the entourage of Dave Hockney, I think, who was like a gay LA British artist guy, who's of course just as fucking gay and artist as any of these people. And, probably lived the most horrible hedonistic life. And she went to go like be in his entourage and semi-married some other dude, just abandoned the family. And, I really respect the fact that Tucker took the path that he did and fought against that. He spent his life fighting against that type of no rules, female first, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want, liberalism without any duty to the family. And I think anybody who comes from a broken family knows what it's like when other people start to get involved, right? When other people start to come in, it's a horrible feeling. Always. It is never a good feeling. I mean, I can't relate, like, who knows, like maybe if you're 2 years old and your parents split up and then you grow up with your step parents, that's probably not that bad because you're just used to it. But anybody who is conscious, when you're conscious and you go through that and somebody else comes into the thing, it's a fucking nasty, nasty, horrible feeling. And that's really what makes you kind of believe in God and believe in like the righteousness of monogamy and marriage and all that stuff. It's or at least the righteousness of like the family unit, because you start to see like kids are really naturally disturbed, very deranged and unhappy when other people start to come into their lives. It's a bad feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When my wife and my kids are away, visiting family or something like that, and I'm in my home by myself and it's quiet, I don't like it. It's, just something as basic as that. Like, it's cool to be able to, like, I went on tour with Scott Thompson from The Kids in the Hall. I was opening for him for a few months on the road, and I could do that. I could be like, we were driving and doing shows and, having, dinner and stuff like together. I could do that. But the idea of like just being home by myself without my family around, it's not a good feeling. It's an empty feeling. It's very much, you sort of, what's a preternatural, I'm not saying that correctly, but this very odd emptiness and it's also a possibility too, because you think like, oh man, if I fuck up, I could lose this. And there are a lot of men who have fucked up their whole lives, losing family, whether it's through, cheating or just any other fuck up that they have.
Totally. Okay, let's read the last part here. So, okay, I forget who Benjamin is, but it's to create such space. This is like close to the end. To create such a space, Benjamin says, requires a mutual surrender that is distinct from submission. I find this distinction difficult to grasp, which was perhaps to say that I experience desire in terms of a struggle that someone must lose. I am ready to cop to some unconscious masochism here. A good man is hard to want, after all, and my sexuality owes me neither protection nor affirmation. It is out for itself, out for a skirmish, a strain, a smell. The old way of mating is dead, said my friend at our colloquy of female complaint over dinner. And the new one has yet to be born. What is the new one? Pessimism may help us feel knowing, but in reality, we don't know. For now, life has us pinned here. I like to make you wait. So it's a great way to end. Honestly, great 2 last paragraphs. Really, really, raw.
And a nice callback to that desirable guy who likes to make her wait.
Yeah. Well, this is we kind of didn't get into it, but she has this whole thing of her sexuality is being it not received and blah blah blah. And she's admitting that she's saying like sexuality for me is I have to win and I keep losing, and she's gonna just lose more and more and more. And this is what women. This is why it's so fucked up, man, because nobody tells them you're going to win every battle until you're 30, and then you're going to start losing, and you're going to lose more and more and more and more, right? And nobody says, you got to not allow that to happen. Especially if you have a kid. You got to make that exchange at the right time. I do appreciate though that she's being honest about this, but I again can't wrap my head around in the mentality of these people. It seems so naive and wrong. Remember she was talking about the other guy, how his lack of commitment was like a being that exists alongside of him that one day he can get rid of, one day he get. She's saying about her sexuality. She's saying her sexuality is just this thing that exists in the world. She can't do anything about it. The sexuality just is. It's a being. And that's not fucking true, dude. You can control your fucking sexuality. Absolutely. You can fucking suck it up and marry a nice guy. Or you can, what I would recommend to her, fuck the nice guys. That's what actually doesn't make any sense. She keeps saying a good man is hard to want. So what's funny is she's saying that all these guys that she's meeting seem like good men. Remember, she's saying my type is good guy who says he's not a part of the male race.
Yeah.
But then they ghost her. So she's saying that actually a guy that doesn't ghost her, she doesn't want anymore. Kind of, right? Isn't that like what she's saying here?
Well, she's not actively going for like quote unquote bad boys,
Right. It's not like she's going for bad boys. Yes.
It's like, I went to, and I found this wild guy who, I went to a bar and this guy got into a fight. And I'm like, I'm going with that guy, there's something about not that it's like boring, but I'm sort of like, part of me is like, why did I read this? Well, why is this in here? Like how much did she get paid to publish, to write this thing? Because I'm like,
not enough.
Is this what I want? Is this there's something where I'm like, and not like I'm into like, romance novels or something, but I'm just like, I want, something here that I feel that I desire, in a way.
Wait, what do you mean by that? What do you mean you want something that you desire?
Well, I guess I probably wanted her, I don't know. I wanted her to get, not that I wanted her to get the guy, but I'm just like, who is the guy she's going for? Like who's the guy she's trying to get,
I think it is the bad boy. That's a great question. I think it's actually a great question to be like, what is the man that solves this woman, right?
Right.
The great quote from I think it's Hemingway. Every woman is a question, and the answer is pregnancy. Obviously that wasn't fucking true of her, because she did get pregnant. I mean, assuming she had that kid, who knows? Maybe not. But obviously that did not work with her, because she got pregnant, and that was not the answer. She continued to have the huge emptiness inside. But yeah, the question is, who would satisfy this woman? And I think it's a black guy. I think that's what's missing here. She never gets in a race. I think maybe she needs.
She never gets.
She needs to go to the hood.
I wonder. There was
Buck,
there was that. She did. I totally. I'm 100. I only want.
Needs to get buck broken, basically.
Yeah. I only, as far as I'm concerned, I only want black men to date white women. That's just where I am on it. But not too long ago, there was a clip going around that was shared from Girls, and it was the clip where. And I never watched the show. I saw like an episode here and there, and I enjoyed the episode that I saw, but I never got into it. But this clip, it's where one of the characters reveals to, I guess, Adam Driver's character that she had an abortion without telling him. And that clip was very much kind of like is the dress yellow? Is the dress gold? Is the dress blue for the people like watching it? Because apparently it was to like kind of show. If the original intent of it was to show like, yeah, girl power, we have, abortion is our right. It kind of collapsed, and it showed like, oh my God, what a horrific thing to do to this poor guy. And in a way, I'm kind of seeing this is a similar thing here. Like, it's sort of putting out there this new reality for some of these women in dating. And it's like, this isn't empowering. Like, this is really sad. And there's a lot here that I'm hoping, for the betterment of everyone, that we're able to change, and to make better.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you feel like, because is it really better to go and be in the world of early Disney when every woman is a princess? I mean, yeah, it definitely is better for society, right? I mean, obviously, you want to make the men and the women women. That is good for everybody. You don't want to make the women men and the men women, which is where we're at now. On the other hand, I don't know. I'm kind of an accelerationist. It's like, I feel like to get from here to there, people like this getting this broken and getting this totally lost. Not that I want bad things for this woman, but because especially, she's a great writer. But it's like, this is hopeful to me for some reason. I can't really explain it. Like, this doesn't, the woke era to me felt like this totally dead, hospitalized, HRified, frozen COVID time where we spent like 20 years on ice. We spent 20 years just lying and communistically trying to suck up to, these woke organizations. This kind of feels to me like a departure from that into a depths of, into like a willingness to be disliked by a woman that's pretty rare. Like this is like, she's really must be conscious on some level. She has a male sensitivity reader, as we've said, that she has read this. So she's not an idiot. Like, she's sending this to people who have an opinion, who are smart, and they're telling her, this makes you look fucking terrible. And she does it, and she does it anyway. She publishes it anyway. So it's like, damn, all right. Well, if that's the case, let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go, man. Let's destroy society. Let's fucking do it. It's the only way through, All right. Well, let's wrap this up. Thank you so much. Thanks for being the temporary host. Tell us, I think you already told everybody, but tell us again.
Yeah, I'll bring you guys over to plug away. Yeah, guys. So I'm Lou Perez, and my book is That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore: On the Death and Rebirth of Comedy. It's available. It's in paperback. I also narrate it. I do the audiobook. And I'm on Substack as well, Lou Perez and the Lou Perez on all social media. Love
it. Yeah, Cole Jackson says, HR lady being caught at a Coldplay concert feels like the start of something new. Dead on. Symbolically, so fucking true. It's like HR got caught. We realized HR was not fucking living by their principles. Like, they got caught red-handed, And we all know that fucking awful HR bitch at the top of the hierarchy that is the worst. And that's her. And she got caught not living. HR symbolically was caught with its pants down, which is so good. Totally true. All right, Lou, thank you so much, man. Appreciate the time. I'll see you later.
Thanks.
Peace.